Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International. We head down to the Eastern Cape today where we have 10 races on the card and we're moving back to the turf today. Let's go and have a look at that track and give you a few indications. Well, normally down there up the straight has always been middle to outside draws over the 1,000 and 1,200 metres. But I must say, been noticing over the last couple of weeks, been a little bit fairer right across the track. Once you go around the top turn, the 14, 16, 18, certainly helps to have middle to inside draws, but you've got a decent straight. Now, there's a 6 metre spur out from the 800 metre mark, so it'll certainly give the horses running on from behind a bit of a chance there. Penetrometer 23, had about 3 mils of rain down there. Conditions look very good for racing. First on the card is a maiden juvenile plate for the 2-year-olds, and it's over the 1,200 metres. And I'm going with a filly to beat the boys here. Number 8, Clifton Sands, Simunga Kumalo's 7-2 from the powerful Justin Snay stable. She's only had the one outing. I thought it was a pretty good run there, and I think we'll see more improvement here. Certainly number 5, got a squeak from the Dorisham stable. But I just want to mention here, they've had a little bit of virus at the stable, so just be careful there. They are a punting stable. It's a very good first up effort. Priced up at 5-2, it does drift. Just be a little bit careful. Certainly number 4, beautifully bred individual from the Alan Creer stable, and he's been in top form. Andrew Fortune jumps aboard. Now, they've taken no chances here. Priced it up at 22-10. It is drawn in barrier 4, but it's only a small field of 8. Number 2, Gimme the Stars from the Yvette Bremner stable. I thought it was a decent first up effort. Now it gets Lyle Hewitson aboard, who claims the 2.5 kilos off the back, brings it in with 57.5, even though drawn down the inside in barrier 2. Race 2 on the card is a maiden plate for the 2-year-olds, and this one's over the 1,400 metres. Number 1, Blizzard King. Now, it's very firm in the market with Lyle Hewitson. Looks like he's got a lot of rides today, the youngster. 2.5 Kings it in with 57.5. Now, it wasn't fancied on debut. It actually drifted out from 10s to 20-1, but put up a good effort when getting well out of its ground, giving him 10 lengths at the 800 metre mark, and ran on solidly to only go down 2.5, running into second. Certainly other horses with a chance here, and I like a bit of also number 9, Southern Sunset, Raymond Danielson. Now, it also put up a good gallop, but also not fancied on debut at 14-1 over the 1,000 metres. Now steps up to the 1,400 and looking at the breeding, certainly has a squeak. Another filly taking on the boys here. Number 5, Alan Creer's stable. Well, they've taken the blinkers off. They tried them last time. Didn't really make much of a difference. His previous form, not too bad. Strong jockey who's ridden on the last 2 occasions. Andrew Fortune jumps aboard and drawn perfectly on the paint in barrier 1. Certainly number 4, Madiba Dance, JP Van der Merwe, might be worth one throwing in here at a little bit of value at 8-1. Is drawn out a bit wide. That's the only thing against it in barrier 9, but certainly improved last time when they put it over the 1,400 metres for the first time. Race 3 on the cards, a low-rated race here. Fillies and Mares 58 handicap. 1,600 metres, excuse me, the trip we're travelling here. And number 7, Dance in the Woods, Muzieni. Now, it's not drawn the best in barrier 10, but has plenty of early gate speed. I think it'll be able to get across from there. Having its third start since relocating from the Western Cape, should be cherry ripe for this one today. Number 8, J Bell, 9-2, is having its second run after S. Always a bit of a worry, but it's had 35 days in between runs and certainly was impressive on when coming back from a break. Ran on very strongly that day, and if it repeats that, could see it finish in the money. Certainly number 4, Party Tibbs, Alan Creer, Andrew Fortune team up again here. Now, last time they put it on the poly, and that was over the 1,200 metres. Got well out of its ground. It was giving him 13.5 lengths at the 400. Got going late, ran on strongly, only beaten 5.25. Will appreciate the extra trip today. Number 13, which is a Night Dancer. Now, young Ram Sam, the apprentice, who's aboard again today, has been aboard in the last 2 outings. Got up to beat Oyster Nut last time. A good run, that one, winning by 1.25 lengths, and only carries 53.5 on its back. But it is drawn out very wide in barrier 16. Race 4 on the card is a conditions plate for the fillies and the mares. 1,800 metres our distance we're travelling here, and with bated breath, I like this one from the Alan Creer stable. I think it's a decent each-way bet at 9-2. Certainly the best of the stable in this race here. Now, if you have a look at its run going back 2 starts ago, when it was a merit rate at 80, it ran second, only beaten half a length. Then last time out, they put it against stronger company and wasn't disgraced there, running third, beaten 4 1/4. I do like this. I think it's a good each-way price with only 52 kilos on the back. Certainly number 8, Mirror the Moon, having its third run back. And as I said, you've got to be careful of the Dorisham stable here today. As I said, they warned us. They've got a little bit of a virus. They're not too sure how the horses will go. But I'm recommending this one. It's had 2 runs since moving down from Johannesburg, and there have been 2 decent efforts. Bit of value here at 9-1. Scarlet Berry can't be left out at 12-1. Drawn okay in barrier 6. His last, 7 or 8 runs have all been on the poly track. Now comes back to the turf, where there's a bit of a question mark here. It's had 5 runs on the turf, never run into money, but it has won over the distance. Number 7, Jam Tart. Now, it's only had the 1 run back, and a duly obliged when coming back from a spell on the 6th of May. Went on to win very comfortably there. Picked up quite a stiff penalty of 3 kilos. Can it do it again? Well, the stable are quietly confident of another good run. Race 5 on the card is a Fillies and Mares, low-rated 62 handicap. 2,000 metres our trip here, and number 2, Hazel J. Muzieni, a bit of each-way value here at 4-1. Certainly runs on very nicely. And last time out, I wasn't sure what they were doing there. They normally give it a bit of a chance, and they took it up right up there handy, hit the front at the 400 and just faded out. I think if they give it a decent chance again, let it settle midfield, certainly will be running on strongly. Well, we mentioned Oyster Nut in the previous race, number 5 here. Very good record over the this distance. Won 2 of its 4 starts and third in there as well. So well suited here from a decent draw in barrier 2 in a very open race, priced up at 9-2. All right, trifecta time. A number 1 Cup Bearer. Another horse having its second run after rest, but it has had 21 days in between runs. Wasn't a bad comeback run. Sandili Cardi holds the ride here. Please note that, and is drawn nicely in barrier 4. Number 6, Pretty and Popular, Charles and Glorvu. I said it's put up a couple of decent runs straight out the maiden. When you consider last time on the poly track over the 1900, straight out the maidens was giving him nearly 13.5 lengths at the 800 and ran on strongly. Certainly going to appreciate the extra straight today. A lot longer. You've got about a 650 metre straight when you turn for home. Race 6 on the card is a merit-rated 68 handicap. 2,400 metres where we're going. And number 2, Sanctuary. Another bit of each-way value. Can it overcome the wide draw? We were hoping so. Drawn out wide in barrier 16, but over the 2-4, I don't think it'll matter too much. And it normally gets out of its ground and runs on strongly. Should be Cherry Right, having its third run back from a break. Number 5, certainly always a danger, very consistent horse, and we're talking about 5 All the Bids. Muzieni from the Renata Duplessis stable. Now, this found good support last time in a merit 72 handicap. They backed it in from 9-2 into 33-10 and ran on strongly there to only go down 3/4 a length when running into third. Decent draw there in barrier 4, and as I said, priced up at 4-1. I've thrown in as well here a number 13, Inca Silver. Now, I went back to its last run. What's it had? Last 5 runs have all been on the poly. Last time they put it on the turf over the course and distance was back on the 30th of November and put up a fair gallop there against similar company and only got beat 3 3/4. So you've got to respect this one here, and it's dropped down in the ratings as well. I've thrown in the 9 if you're looking for another one for your trifectas with Samunga Kamalo aboard. It's only had the 2 runs since relocating up to Port Elizabeth from the Western Cape, and it put up a very good first up gallop. Last time out they backed it, but maybe the second run out caught it last time, and I think put a line through that. It is drawn a bit wide in barrier 13, but you've got the best jockey in South Africa aboard. Here we go. This is a nice race, this one. It's a non-black type event, and it's over the 1,400 metres. Good race, this one. We've got a couple of decent horses, and I'm going to stick with the Cape Town horses here. Number 4, Ashton Park, Aldo de Meyer. I'm going to make it the best bet on the card. Very strong form from Cape Town. Having its third run back for us. Should be Cherry Right from this. Got a decent draw in barrier 3, and I think it looks hard to beat, and I think it's a pretty generous price at 33-10. I've thrown in the 8 from the Mike Bass stable as well. well. Those top two are both from there. Both come with the Cape Town form, and I think it might be a little bit strong for the local company. Well, certainly Red Barrel, well, he's done incredibly well since moving down from the Mike to Cox stable, and he's notched up win after win. Course and distance, he's had 5 runs for 2 wins, 2 seconds and a third. Hard to leave out, even though he's got to carry big weight of 61, and he is drawn out a bit wide in barrier 11. Same can be said about number 6 as well. The blinkers go on and the tongue tie today. Should certainly put up a decent gallop over the mile last time when staying on well to be only beaten a quarter of length. That was a top effort there, and he certainly can't be left out. Priced up at the moment at 11-2. Race 8 on the card is Fillies a Mares 76 handicap, and we're travelling over the 1200 metre straight. As I said, it helps to have the Eight-Sail drawers, and I've gone with a lightly raced 3-year-old here, number 3, Night Out. Charles and Glorvy jumps aboard for the Alan Creer stable. Now, this one won its first 2 races in a row. They gave it a spell, brought it back at 1, and then gave it a spell, and then certainly I thought it was a good effort on the 8th of April. You've got to look for a bit more improvement there, and it certainly has a top-class draw. Number 13, the Wild Mistress. Well, she's also doing pretty well. She won, come out the maidens 3 starts ago, and since then she's placed on both occasions, run third, drawn in the middle of the pack in barrier 8, and she's very firm in the market now with young Callum Murray, who doesn't claim here, but is priced up at 7-2. Number 2, Mystic Express. Let's get to that page. There we are. Alan Creef jumps aboard. Went back to a run there over the course and distance. That was back on the 22nd of January, and that was in a Fillies a Mares 87. So dropping down in class here, down to a 76, and she's drawn on the wrong side of the track. Probably only thing against her in barrier 2, and I just reckon she could be a bit of value for the trifectas at 14-1. Bariga number 6. This has got Colin Tabana, the apprentice, aboard, who claims 2.5 off the back and brings it in with 56. Gets a decent draw in barrier 14, having its third run since relocating from KZN, and might be one who could sneak into the money. Race 9 on the card is a merit-rated 72 handicap. Looks an open-looking race here over the 1200 metre straight. And number 4, we're going for Covariance. We've tipped this to you a few times, and it hasn't been finishing far behind. Last time out, we liked it a little bit as a bit of a roughie for the trifectas at 22-1, and it actually ran second, only beaten half a length. Now, repeating that run with strong jockey Andrew Fortune now gets aboard for the Alan Creer stable and drawn nicely on the outside in barrier 17. Number 9, Troublemaker, Charles and Glorview. I see they fitted the blinkers today. Has a bit of a stop-start career. They brought it back on the 22nd of February, ran a decent race. Then they gave it another spell, brought it back on the 13th of May. But both those runs have been on the poly. It had some decent Cape Town form. And watch out for big improvement here at 9-1. All right, we're looking for number 2. That's Jay's Man from the Grant Paddock stable. Also been running on the poly in its last 4 outings, not finishing too far behind them. Goes okay on the turf as well and gets the 2.5 claim off the back now and brings it in with 59 kilos. If you're needing one more for those trifectas, and I think it's a pretty open race here. Now, the word from Duncan McKenzie about this horse is coming off a 135-day break. It's got decent Cape Town form. He's just concerned here. He thinks he can run in the money here. He might just need it. So there you go, might just need it, and he's drawn down the wrong side in barrier 3. But he said working okay. Here we go, the lucky last on the card, race 10. It's a Fillies a Mares 62 handicap, up the straight of 1,000 metres. Now I'm going with the big numbers here, right on the outside, and number 18, Coral Key. It's 6-1, might be a bit of an each-way bet or a nice place bet here. Certainly drawn nicely in barrier 13. Caught the eye last time in a merit-rated 63. That was on the poly, though, and stayed on nicely. It'd only go down by a length over the 1,000 metres. Are there dangers? Well, I think there's quite a few, and number 19 from the Gavin Smith stable. And by the way, we wish Gavin Smith all the best. He's having a tough time at the moment. Now, there's a jockey now popped on, JP van der Merwe, decent jockey, and also drawn well in barrier 14. Lightly raced, should show some improvement there. I've also popped in a number 1 here. If you're looking, and it's found a bit of market support. It's pretty firm there at 4-1. Gets a claim of 2.5 off the back, brings it in with 57.5. Last time out, there was good money for the horse. They backed it from 10s into 11-2, and Julia Blige winning very comfortably there by a length and a quarter. Also looking at number 3, a Midnight Lace. Now it is coming off a break of 156 days. Last run was back on the 23rd of December. Wasn't a bad effort. Wasn't fancy there. Now this is very speedy, and got a comment from the Duncan Mackenzie stable. He said, watch out for it. You'll get a good run for your money, and it's currently priced up at 20 to 1. Yeah, very competitive down there, and especially in those big fields up the straight of 1,000 and 1,200 metres. You need to play as wide as you can there. We normally get a few upset results. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account. From myself, all the team here, Rod McCurdy and everyone from Racing International, we wish you a very successful punting weekend.